Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Rainbow Depths, which is a really fun deck. Haven't played it post-ban, which is nice. I do think Ragavan was a little bit of an issue for the deck. I wouldn't say a big issue, but it was annoying if they took like crop rotation and got their own wastelands or hit things like Duress or Thoughtseize to take some of our cards. But otherwise, yeah, pretty happy to have Rag out of the format. And to go back to a pretty, probably stock list. This is very close to Tom Hep's list that he was running around with. The only difference is adding in an additional Not of This World instead of the one of Elvish Reclaimer. Elvish Reclaimer obviously really strong, but I do want to try out the 4 Not of This Worlds. I'm going to predict a lot of Karakas. Even though Ragavan's gone, I think that Karakas is still a strong card in Legacy, especially when new metas are forming. A lot of Reanimator style decks come around, so I think that this is pretty good. 4 Spirit Guide, 4 Pedal, 4 Scrying, 4 Crop Rotation, 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Other Hand Disruption in 2 Duress, 2 Inquisition, and then Protection, 4 Not As Well, 2 Stifle, 2 Needle. The only other big addition is Yavimaya, which the reason I like it is that it just allows us to have that extra way to combo off on turn 3 through Yavimaya Dark Depths Thespian stage. It does open us up slightly to Submerge, but most of the time we can play around that by sacking the Yav to crop, or yeah, some other way. Maybe getting rid of it with yeah, crop's the main way. Crop's the main way. Penguin, you are more than welcome. It's nice to yeah, change up the streams and see how they go. Most likely going back to full-time work pretty soon, so trying to get as much as I can. The only other change with no Ragavan around was moving the Karakas back to the sideboard. And not really playing around with the sideboard yet, because I'm not too sure what the metagame is, so we'll see how this performs. And the nice thing about using this list is that Tom does have a really nice Rainbow sideboard plan, which we can go across. Obviously a little bit out of date, a lot of new cards have come out since here, but still the core of the theory and how you should sideboard for different decks is very real, so really nice to have this as well to kind of go about changing things around. It is interesting though. I could potentially see Abrupt Decay coming in over the trophies. The main reasons that I like Trophy is hitting lands like Karakas, and also hitting Murktide Regent. I find the Blue-Red Delver matchup to be pretty good, but having actual answers to Murktide is also quite nice. So I think we'll see how this goes, and yeah, hopefully it goes okay. Huge shout out to the sponsors of the channel, MTG Mate, an Australian cardboard seller. You can buy your singles through mtgmate.com.au, and of course Card Hoarder, who allow me to get all my cards online, which is very much appreciated. Especially right now with a lot of cards definitely up there. Endurance, Urza's Saga, about 50 ticks each. Ragavan's still pretty high. Alright. Up against M. Boyd. On the play. Definitely an interesting hand. We have Mana Confluence into Hand Disruption. We don't have another land, but we can turn the Spirit Guide into, and the Sylvan Scrying into something else. So it's definitely an interesting one. Obviously one-landers aren't usually that great, but here it does have a bit of a plan. We get to pull apart our opponent's hand, which is really nice. And then we do have like Spirit Guide Crop in case they have Wasteland. It doesn't have like one piece of the combo, but it does have two ways to find it. Even if we draw into a land, then we're pretty good. So I'm actually pretty happy to keep this. I think we can use these Thought Seizers pretty well to keep our opponent off their plan to slow them down. Obviously, you don't want to see an aggressive hand. Oh, okay. All right. So we are up against Reanimator. So they have three ways to get creatures back: Animate Dead, Entomb, and Exhume. So Entomb puts the creature in the bin, so I think he would just take the Entomb. I could take the Ritual. The only rough part there is if we take the Ritual and then they just go land pass, when we try to Thought Seize them, they can just Entomb in response, and then they have three ways to get things back. So I'm going to take the Entomb. We also have Crop into Bog if really needed. They're not even going to play a land here. Surely they will. No. They're going to try to... okay, I think the read there is that they drew into a big creature, and they want to get to a stage where they can just discard that. We are going to duress them. Yeah, so they drew into the Grizzlebrand. So what they're playing here is try to just get to 8 cards, discard Grizzlebrand, and then untap Swamp Ritual into Exhume or Animate Dead. So pretty happy just to take the Dark Rit here. And then I don't even mind using Sylvan Scrying here off the Spirit Guide. What can they draw into? It looks like they're mono black. Animate Dead, Exhume, Verdant, Swamp. Yeah, so this is the hand. So my line here is Spirit Guide, Scrying to go and get Dark Depths. And the next turn we untap, play Dark Depths, and have open 2 mana thanks to Urborg and the Mana Confluence to crop into Thespian stage and then combo off on the next turn. So I don't think here we have to play around them being able to do anything with one card. Like even if they draw a Thought Seize themselves, they don't have the Ritual effect to get it. So I think we actually are fine here with going for Dark Depths. I'm going to get Dark Depths off this as well, because if we draw into Vampire Hexmage, then we also have that way of comboing off, which gives us a spare mana. It also means if they like draw Thought Seize and hit our crop rotation, then we have multiple ways to draw into like the combo in a way. Needle. That's pretty good. We do need all 3 mana here. 1 for crop, 2 to activate, so I'm just going to pass. And if worse comes to worse, we can always crop away something into Bojuka Bog. They could have drawn like Entomb there. That would have been pretty tough. Alright. Now we look to be in the clear. I'm also just going to get rid of the Urborg. So let's float 2 mana. Crop away the Urborg. Go and get that spin stage. Copy Dark Depths. Keep the copy with no counters on it. This will trigger. Opponent thinking. Yeah, nice. Pretty cool. Pretty nice to get the win against Reanimator. Which looks to be mono black as well. Which is combo. We've got game 1. I like the Caracas. I like the ley lines. I like the surgicals. Hey Damo, a huge thank you for the sub. Too kind. Too kind. Looking forward to catch you soon. I didn't get back to you about this weekend, but hopefully beers soon. Have a quick look at BRx Reanimator. 2 surgical, flusters, Caracas, out 1. Ah, nice. Stifles, Ghost Quarter. And then bring in the flusters. Nice, that's pretty good. That's a big drive as well from the Gold Coast to Toowoomba. You do get to cut out some bit by going around Brisbane, but yeah, definitely a tough one because you got to wake up pretty early to get up there. But hopefully they had a good turnout. I'm not sure how many people in made it up to Modern. I still like the step in case we need to get through like an Archon or a Grizzle. But yeah, nice to have the split of Leyline and Surgical. Only 2 Leyline in the list because we don't really need the full 4 against Graveyard decks. We have, you know, crops into Pachuca Bog. Surgical is still fantastic against decks like Uro decks as well, so pretty happy. It's really nice as well how this deck kind of sideboards. It's just very clean, sort of 4 out, 4 in. Archon probably the cleanest way to deal with Lage. I don't believe there's really another strong way to deal with a 2020 from their deck, other than, yeah, combo or faster. You remade Epic Storm? Very nice. That's cool. This Wednesday coming is Highlander, but of course the rest of the week, or the rest of the month, will be Legacy at GGUMG. Which is cool. And good numbers as well, usually between 15 and 20, which is nice. A lot of different decks as well. Usually only 2 double ups to say the most. I think on the draw here as well, I'm going to mulligan pretty aggressively for Leyline or Surgical. As nice as this hand is, it's turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 like Depths. We could draw this into an extra mana for the crop as well, but just a little bit too fair on the draw. This again, just a little bit too fair. Okay, this is pretty nice. We have a lot of interaction. I'm gonna keep it for sure. Is it weird for me to put back? I kind of want to keep the Depths. And the Hex, is it greedy to... I might put back 1 Surgical. Yeah, so Leyline, they might have either Wear Tear or Serenity. The issue is if we put in Leyline and if they go Land, Pedal, Serenity, the Thoughtseize doesn't do too much, other than take a fatty out of their hand and exile it through Leyline before they deal with the Leyline. So I could see a world where we have the Surgical as backup. So we take out 1 Surgical. And then it's probably going to be Hexmage. Having the Duck Depths in hand is nice because then it just turns on Hexmage, Urborg, a few other things as land, and I probably want the pedal just in case I draw to like crop rotation. So I think this is it. So they show Chancellor. We show Leyline. So if we draw a land that taps some mana, we can play the pedal around Chancellor and kind of get a free one. I'm keeping the Thoughtseize as a way to protect the Leyline, because hopefully I can snag like a Wear Tear or a Serenity from them. Or if they do play like Serenity or Wear Tear this turn, we can Thoughtseize them and take a way to get a creature back in. But I also kind of want to know what they're going on. Because if they have something like a Rotting Regisaur or like an alternate way to win, then I do want to take that as well. Unmask us. And this is pretty funny because they can either take the Thoughtseize if they haven't answered a ley line, but then they have Surgical to worry about, or take Surgical and then try to like maybe draw into another way to deal with the ley line. Hey, Calm. I think Green White Depths is pretty solid. So take the Thoughtseize. Yeah, it's definitely tough. I definitely like having two ways to interact against Reanimator. And I think the ley line can buy us enough time to draw into either part of the depths. We're just gonna go with Step here. This means next turn we can just play the Pedal to hit the Chancellor trigger, which is nice. But yeah, I can definitely see a reasoning, Captain. It's kind of nice to have the Hex Mage there. Okay. Yav's pretty sweet. I'm gonna play the Depth this turn, because if we draw into stage next turn, we can then use the Pedal and Sajiri Step to go off. If I play the Yavimaya this turn and we draw into Thespian stage, then we can't play both in the same turn. Yeah, the challenge coming down to 32 players is nice, but I feel like with Ragavan out, it's gonna be pretty easy to hit the 32. Which is tough as well because they also dropped the prize structure to only paying out to top 32 instead of top 64, which is pretty tough. Like, it means that any player who's grinding and wanting to hit something is not going to. So here is what looks to be Wear. Oh, Tear, sorry. Sure. So they still know about the Surgical. Some thoughts about a new tier 0 deck right now? Blue-Red Delver. I really think Blue-Red Delver only got better with Ragavan gone. The deck just becomes so much more consistent. You don't get the broken starts of like turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 attack, make a treasure, and then you can Expressive Iteration from turn 2, which is pretty brutal. Interesting, they're going to looting into the Surgical. I'm much more scared of Archon than I am Grizzlebrand. So what they could be setting up is discard 2 different creatures and then untap and exhume. And then of course Surgical only hits one of them. So that's probably their way to play around Surgical if they don't have Hand Disruption. And there we see it, like Chancellor and Sarah's Emissary. And this is a card that I just have to deal with because we don't have a way to deal with it. And there it is, that's exactly why we played out the lands like this. So that is pretty nice. Really cool. Pedal is fine. Pedal is fine. Magus. They're tapping out for this, which is interesting. Yeah, maybe they didn't have another play, so Nice. Very, very cool to get game 1. Oof. I'm gonna get a beer. I'll be 1 sec. We are drinking the best. Actually, there we go. MTG mate. Oh, come on now. Doesn't get much better. But yeah, Reanimator typically a pretty nice matchup because I feel like Depths is just a lot slower, and we just have that main deck hand disruption to deal with them. Main deck Bog, multiple ways to get Bog. Pretty happy to see it. But yeah, also saw Tom Hep running around the Discord channel, so hopefully see Tom back playing a bit of Depths. Would be very cool to see. Alright. On the play, which is nice. And team, what do we think of this hand? I think it's pretty good. We get to open with Duress. We have a natural turn 3 thanks to these 3 cards. But I think I'll start with Duress off the Gemstone Mine. Because we can also crop away the gemstone into Urborg after we play these 2 lands, which is pretty nice. There is a world where the Mana Confluence data comes up. Ah, no respectable Aussie does drink Busters, that's very correct. Alright, we are up against Delver. Here I'm pretty happy just to take the... This is actually an interesting one. I think it's the Brainstorm that I really care about. The days we don't really care about because we have the natural here. So I think it is just going to be Brainstorm. The one thing that Daze does do is take us off the ability to turn 3 crop and combo off if they take us off the mana we need for stage. But I think Brainstorm's just so good here because it allows them to really dig for a Wasteland. Okay. I don't think I play out the depths here. I think I play out the stage, because even if we draw into Hexmage, we would have 3 mana. We could then crop away the Yav into Urborg, which leaves us with 2 mana, which means we can't play the Hexmage around Daze. So pretty happy just to go with stage here, pass. Alright, Preordaine's pretty good. The crop here could also go and get a Ghost Quarter in case they find Wasteland, so we can kind of Ghost Quarter the Wasteland and make them react. They keep on top, which is pretty big. And obviously they know about the stage, so I assume it's going to be Wasteland that they kept. Which does stop them from playing Delver here. Okay. Interesting that they played the Delta and not the Tarn that we know about. Black. Oof. I think here, honestly, we just crop for Urborg. And that way we can just untap, play depths. And they've already played a land, so... Wonder what they name. Probably Hexmage. I think Hexmage is a reasonable take. But if we went for the Urborg there, maybe they think we already have Dark Depths, so... Definitely an interesting one. I don't think they care about Not of This World unless they run Brazen Borrower, but I don't think that's like a name in the blind that they'd go for. Crop rotation. That's fair. Like, yeah, naming another crop makes sense as well. Yeah, and luckily they just don't have an out, which is pretty fantastic for us. Meaning like turn 2, pretty sweet. Clock stops, nice. This is going to be Grixis Delver. We're up against Dimitri Q-Ed. We won game 1. Alright. Delver's going to be pretty interesting. I like the trophies for Murktides, and even just for creatures early on. Flusters are interesting as well, hitting things like Brazen Borrower Bounce or Submerge if it does come to that. Just gonna have a quick look. Grixis Delver, 2 Decays, 2 Flusters, and then out, yeah. I don't mind that. 2 and 2, and then just 1 Spirit Guide, and keep 1 Knot. This deck is cheap in paper, but one thing I will note is that there is a bit of a cost to it, because although it's cheap, you're buying a playset of Mana Confluence and a playset of Gemstone Mines, which, at least in Australia, are like $30 each. So you're kind of putting like, you know, $250 into lands that don't really see play otherwise. So although it is a cheap deck to buy and like you can just grind it and love it and that's fantastic, but I wouldn't say it's the cheapest deck to get into if you're looking to use those cards to then build into other decks. Like you might want to, instead of spending $250 on these, go and, you know, spend that $250 on a Bayou or something, and try to go that way towards like a turbo one. But yeah, the Dredge mana base does hit this, so if you like Dredge and Rainbow, then you have a pretty good, like you could probably get them all. I guess LEDs are big for Dredge, but you could play Manaless and maybe get like both decks for under like $1,000, which is kind of cool. This is definitely an interesting hand. We have Needle for Wasteland, which is pretty fantastic. We have Thoughtseize as interaction. Sajiri Step naturally to get through any attackers, but we don't have Dark Depths, which is the big one. So this is an interesting one. I don't mind it. I think we can be a little bit slower against Delver as well. but it's tough. The deck does mulligan pretty well, so there are some hands that you're just like, that's awesome. I'm going to keep it and see how it goes. I think at least it has a nice plan. And like Volk Pass is exactly what I want to see. And there's crops, that's pretty perfect. So I think I'm happy to go for Gemstone Mine, play the Petal around Daze, and now we can cast Thoughtseize. Brainstorm is fine. Okay. This is pretty interesting. I feel like they might have Brainstorm locked themselves, because surely you rather keep a land in hand that we just can't take with Thoughtseize than put a land on top. So that's a very interesting one. Unless they're hiding Wasteland, that's probably the only land that I would hide, because it actually is information that is big for me. So I think what I might do here is take the Daze, and then use the Lotus Petal to play the Needle on Wasteland. Yeah. Hey Carmel, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. Oh, they did Brainstorm lock themselves. Wow. Scrying. Okay. Scrying's pretty nice here. Force Pitch Delver. That's fine as well, because we still have the crop here. Jai, that's a fantastic point. If you do want the early ones, then yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough. The early editions. They might be forced to... Oh, okay. Okay, they hit a land. There we go. Yep. They need a sorcery to put in the bin to get this Dragon Rage Channeler to a 3/3. They don't find it. What in particular draws me to Depths over traditional lands? I think Depths has faster wins, which is nice. I think Depths is a fantastic deck to just grind trophy, like leagues with, or hopefully trophies. Especially this style of the deck. Gemstone. And yeah, it's cool. It's kind of like a fast-paced navigation as well. Can you needle the Confluence? No, you can't, because it is a mana ability. Okay. I mean, this puts us down to 12 and then 6, so it's pretty close to lethal. Another bolt just kind of does it. I mean, a Delver flip does it as well. Ooh, Hex Mage is kind of nice. We can also crop for Bojuka Bog if we really need to. So like we can play Confluence. Lose this land. Oh, no flip is huge. Okay. No flip. So they have one card in hand. If it's a Murktide, then paired with a Force of Will, it just answers this crop rotation, which is a little bit rough. I guess we see how this goes, because the Dragon Rage Channelers have to attack. Murktide in the bin, sure. Preordain in the bin, sure. They have one card left. They're going to look at the top of us, that's fine. I think we just get there by the smallest of margins. I believe we go to 1. Do they have a bounce effect? They look for crop rotation. Oh my gosh! Ooh, very nice. The other play was potentially cropping into Bojuka Bog after they've attacked with the Dragon Rage Channelers to block one. But I think just going for the win there is obviously better, and looking at their hand, we could work out that they didn't have exactly what they needed. So, really nice to get that one as well. Oof. Nice. The thinnest of margins, exactly. I feel like Bob needs to be in this deck because this deck just does win at the, it finds greatness at any cost. Whew. The tough part is as well, my opponent did put a bolt in the bin off a DRC about 2 turns in. I think 3 turns in. I think the second they preordained and then brainstormed. I think off the brainstorm they put a bolt in the bin, which is tough. Oof. Yeah, nice. I think the nice thing about Depths is as well is that everyone gets the 25 minutes to play Magic, and Depths is a very fast deck. So you get a lot of time to work through your turns and lines that you don't have to rush it, even though it is a quick deck. Like a turn 2 win or turn 3 win could still take 10 minutes because you want to make sure that you're playing around the right cards, you're sequencing correctly, you're keeping up the right mana. So Depths is a really nice deck to play in leagues because you're not playing against the clock so much. Even though you're taking a lot of time on each of your turns and assessing what the best route to victory is, you don't feel under pressure by the clock, which is awesome. And like the deck mulligans really well. Like in our opening hand, you're looking for 3 cards. You're looking for Urborg, Dark Depths, Hexmage. And then on top of that, you could have some fluff. You could have like a Thoughtseize or Hand Disruption spell for turn 1. You could have a Needle for turn 1 to play around Wasteland. You then have, you know, another 4 cards, which sounds, it makes it sound insane. You get those 3 cards and you can have any other 4 cards. And those 4 cards can also be fantastic. It could be a Spirit Guide, it could be a Crop Rotation, it could be a Hand Disruption spell, a Stifle, a Not of This World. Really nice. Needle Naming for Seiju is probably something that will start happening. Alright, on the play, which is nice. Chat, what do you think about this hand? I want to see some dialogue. Would you keep this hand in the blind, and why? Or why would you throw it away? Nice. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, this hand doesn't have any of those 3 that we just talked about. It's really not doing anything other than maybe, you know, disrupting our opponent a little bit. And luckily, the deck does mulligan pretty well. So pretty happy to mulligan this. This is interesting, but unfortunately, no colored mana. So I don't think I'm going to be keeping this either. It is kind of like 1 land away. Like imagine if the top deck, it has to be a top deck, but if we top deck a green source, but I don't want to be in that position. I would rather go to 5. And this is like really close. Like we have Urborg, Thespian Stage, Dark Depths, and then we have double Not of This World. So I think here I'm probably happy to keep the Crop and the Not of This World, and then just put away these 2. I think the Scrying is a little bit too slow. The Crop's obviously faster. And double Not of This World is potentially not needed, so I kind of like these 2 to keep. You prefer double protection? I guess this is like, you know, might as well see what our opponent is known for if they are on MTG Goldfish. Interesting. My opponent has been on Painter before. That's very true. In this hand we can't cast Crop Rotation. We do have some nice ways to draw into green mana without even disrupting this. Things like Lotus Petal and Elvish Spirit Guide. Just Blood Moons. No, no Wastelands. I'm going to lead on Urborg. It does give my opponent access to black straight away, but I don't think that's a big issue. But it is currently my only coloured source. Leading on Urborg or Dark Depths here is so we can naturally just draw into Hexmage next turn. I think Dark Depths gives away too much information, and I'm happy to lead on Urborg. Even though like a Wasteland, a stray Wasteland could take us off colour, I think that's fine. Like we could be on Pox. Pox usually has a turn 1 play, but you never know. Misty, okay. We are probably not against a Painter deck. I just feel a Hexmage. Needle. That's pretty nice. I wonder if I needle... I think I just needle Wasteland here in the blind. I could go for Karakas, but we do have, like, Not of This World for that, so... Pretty happy with that. Hey, Mendez. If you see this on YouTube, thanks for getting in there. Thanks for subscribing. Okay. This could be like blue-green Omni. I'm going to say it's like a snow sort of mid-range deck, but you never know. That's actually pretty nice. Because now we do have the green mana for crop as well if needed. Ice Fang? Okay. Yeah, thankfully crop away the Herbal gets around Ice Fang, which is pretty nice. They can't even like tap out for Teferi here, which is really nice. They didn't play an Uro either, which is pretty cool. They could have Endurance, so the pro is definitely going to be pro green. Alright, they're going for white mana, that's fine. Oh. They didn't even fight over it. Ooh. We don't have to worry about endurance here, so I think we just go for pro blue. Like, there's no real need to pro green. Nice, very cool. There we go. Alright, so we're playing against like a BANT midrange, I'm just gonna say. Hey Mark, welcome. Hope you're doing well. BANT's gonna be interesting. I really like the Safekeepers. Most likely the Flusters. Surgical's interesting as well. It's just like a clean-ish way to deal with Uro, but potentially not needed. Again, just going to go to the Master himself and look at some sort of like BANT mid-range kind of deck. Even like a blue-white deck could be pretty similar. It could be 4-color, but seeing they went for basics early on, it's definitely interesting. We only saw BANT, so I'm going to presume it's just BANT. And red, other than Pyroblast, I don't see red being that impactful in this matchup, which is pretty nice for us. There's Miracles. Yeah, I think we just take out some of the fluff. Some sort of blue-white X deck. I'm going to take out the Stifles. I don't mind the Needles, especially for like Teferi. But to be fair, Teferi's static is more of an issue than anything else. I could definitely see just like us slowing down a little bit and taking out like the Petals, or a mix of Petal and Spirit Guide. Petal a little bit worse because it can be prismatic endinged and also bounced with Teferi if really needed. Yeah, Tom's datasheets are sweet. It's a little bit old, but if you do want to see it, you can find it here. Petal does do both colors, that's very correct. Yeah, maybe that's a reason to drop out on the Spirit Guides. Trophies might just be nice to have. Yeah, I don't mind something like this. Probably want the extra fluster. But if they're playing Teferi, then it just makes things awkward. I'm going to try this out and see how it goes. But I could see a world where there's other good cards there. We do have Bog for Uro as well, which is nice. I don't mind this hand. I kind of wish this was a mana confluence, but otherwise it's pretty okay. Safekeeper is not going to be a turn 1 play, but Inquisition is fine as a turn 1 play. It also has one piece of the combo, Urborg, to sort of smooth things out. Tundra. Ponder. Pretty nice. Alright, let's start off with Urborg into Inquisition, which means that next turn the Gemstone Mine can tap for black if I want it to for free, or for blue with Flusterstorm. Oh, they're playing Food Chain. Okay, well, that makes things a little bit different. We have the Fluster for swords. We have the Scrying left over to go and get Sajiri Step for the Ice Fang. So here we're just going to take the Food Chain. And then pass back. But knowing that it's Food Chain, I think Assassin's Trophy or even Force of Vigor to some extent is pretty strong. Griffins are blockers unless we give pro blue, which is quite nice. Confluence is pretty sweet. I think we just go with Mana Confluence. Just having a quick think. I guess, maybe not. We know they have Swords to Plowshares, so if I play the Thespian stage this turn and then draw Dark Depths next turn, I do have the combo online. But then we don't have protection. So there is a world where I just trade the Safekeeper here with the swords. I don't mind that. I could scry now, but I like that we have crop next turn with stage up. So if Safekeeper can just eat a swords here, I wouldn't mind that. It also stops them from casting the Icewing this turn if they do so. Hey, Evil Green, what's good? I'm gonna say Rainbow Depths. Rainbow Depths is pretty sweet, so hope you're doing well. This is fine. I need the extra mana anyway, so. Noble. Okay. Now we just know their hand as well, which is nice. Needle's interesting. I don't think I can name Food Chain because I believe it's a mana ability, but I could be incorrect. Let's do a quick Google search. I mean, you can needle it, but does it do anything? Here we go. 2014. Look at that. Food Chain is a mana ability. There we go. So we cannot name it. Well, we can name it, but we don't want to name it. So I think here I'm happy just to crop now, getting rid of the Urborg. Needle and Ballista is quite good as well. That does slow us down a little bit, but maybe that's where I need to be. Name Borgarigmus. Name Caracas, yeah. I guess we do have Sylvan Scrying for Ghost Quarter to play around Caracas, which is nice. But I could see a world where we name Walking Ballista. I mean, we unless they draw Brainstorm, then we don't really have to worry about like them having Food Chain and Walking Ballista because we know this is their hand. So the question is, do I want to put myself in a world where we can just try to win next turn? And I think that is it. I think we just crop here for Dark Depths, getting rid of the Urborg, floating 2 mana. No, we can't do that. We have to keep the Urborg around for the Dark Depths to tap for mana. But I think that's okay. It's tough because we can't cast the Sylvan Scrying next turn and play a step, but hopefully that's okay. They didn't end step the Ice Fang either, which is very interesting. Manipulate Fate. Okay. Very cool card. Search your library for 3 cards, exile them, and then shuffle. Draw a card. Okay. We also get to hold up Flusterstorm next turn, which is pretty sweet. Or just draw exactly what we need, because now we can cast the Scrying. Do they have Force? They have to have Force here. It looks like they have Force. They got that little red ring around it. I didn't want to play the gemstone there. Ah, this is going to concede. Nice. Nice. Very cool. I didn't play the gemstone there to have the Flusterstorm up because step as the land drop just wins. So, very cool. So it was BANT Food Chain, which is a sweet deck. Alright, let's just keep playing some depths. Look, I'm happy with 6-0. I'm happy with 6-0, but it would be nice to just, yeah, keep taking our time, talk through our lines, make sure we're not rushing anything. But very cool. I think a big part of this league so far has also been just being on the play all 3 games. Like, that doesn't usually happen. And being on a depths deck is terrific. All right. Look, if there's a punt, I would love to know it, because there is always something to learn from a game of Magic. There we go, on the play, which is nice. All right, team, what do you think of this hand? Do we keep? Do we mull? I have a pretty good idea, but I want to hear what you think. I think Ua. I think U is the right. Yeah, pretty horrible to be fair. We can't really do much, so pretty happy to mulligan this. Interesting. Look, it has a way to find Dark Depths, but it's a very slow hand, and the pedals aren't great. So I think there is a better 5. Especially before when we were talking about the best 3. Being Urborg, Dark Depths, Hexmage. I think I'm pretty happy to go to 5. One of those hands against BANT was 5 and we were fine, so... Pretty much the same, but I am gonna keep it. Too good, look at this. Look at this, chat. Look at that. Just too good. Too nice. A little quiet. Yeah, this hand is pretty tough as well. I mean, like, to be fair, it's a turn 2 if we find Dark Depths off the top. But it's tough. Best of luck. Yes. I've never gone to forward depths, but I could see a world. Yeah, I mean, if I really want to back my thought process of the top 3, like, let's do it. Oh, so close. So close. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to bottom a Hexmage. And I think because we already have the Hexmage, I'm going to bottom the Stage. And then potentially the Needle. And just try to rip a crop rotation off the top. Is this... The big question is the Stage better? We're definitely keeping... I think we're definitely keeping these 3. And then it's a case of what do we want from here. And it could honestly be Needle. Like, that's not the worst hand. We have mana to go and get... we have mana for both Crop Rotation and Sylvan Scrying. We have mana to cast the Hexmage. We have Sun Protection and Needle. I think that's my play. I'm also not just going to play out the Hexmage, I'm going to wait to have a target. So if they have a Planeswalker, if we find Dark Depths, I don't want to just, you know, open it up to Source to Plowshares or, you know, a Lightning Bolt or Fatal Push or something like that. Okay. Oh, could be lands here. So Wasteland's a pretty nice start. Double Mox. Okay. Do they have an engine? Do they have a Loam or a Valakut Exploration? I wouldn't say we're so dead. Like, if we draw into Dark Depths and Not of This World, then we're sweet, because then we just have protection from Karakas as well. We can target the Gemstone with Hexmage, that's correct. So I guess we could play it turn 2 and have a valid target. Needle. Oof. Please say... I guess they name Hexmage here. If they... Oh, they named Stage. Okay. So they've actually turned off their own way to copy our stages as well, which is nice. Come on. Let's go. We're getting Dark Depths. And then we just want to draw into Another's World. The main deck Needle means they're playing Saga as well. Rishon and Port would be tough here, but I assume in the Saga builds that's where you find the space for Sagas, you take out the Ports. Ghost Quarter is actually also a consideration for them as well. They probably have a Ghost Quarter in the 60. They play their own stage. Okay. Oh, I definitely should have played the Hexmage first. That was a big misplay, I think. But no. The question here is that I can't really play around crop rotation. They have 2 cards in hand. Like, there's no point in me going for Dark Depths now, I don't think. I'd rather just wait till their end step so they can't, like, do... I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how I should be navigating this turn. But I think just waiting is fine. Other than, like, natural Ghost Quarter. Like, another Grove is fine. I'm definitely going for it because we have the other one to rebuild as well. No Caracas? Crop. Okay. Alright. I will still play the Dark Depths here. Potentially. Maybe not, because we can't draw into stage anyway. So I don't see a world where it's worth playing Dark Depths out here. I might as well just hold it in hand. But yeah, I really don't want to see some sort of engine from them. Okay, well that's protection. So now we're just trying to draw into to Hexmage. And this is probably the only type of situation where I would like to see Once Upon a Time in the deck over Sylvan Scrying. But I think the power of Sylvan Scrying, just finding what you actually need, is just so much better. Stifle's pretty interesting. I guess there's a world where we can start taking the counters off naturally, so I actually am going to play it out. And then we do have Stifle for like a Ghost Quarter or something anyway. The stage is needled with Pith Needle, so we don't have to worry about them copying it. And there is Ghost Quarter, which is interesting. Spirit Guide. They haven't cashed in the Canopy yet, which is interesting. Just trying to, like, turbo into something like a Valakut Exploration or a Loam. Another stage. Come on, Hex. Okay. I don't think we lose the gemstone here just to take a counter off. I'd rather draw into like an Urborg or the green one. I'm okay to play this as well. They got their own Dark Depths. Interesting. Hey DN Solver, welcome. Another stage. Alright. Okay. The excitement is insurmountable. I love it. Canopy is gonna be fine. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a an ice off. That's classic. All right. I do want to hold up the stifle here as well, so at least we can go like take one off, but I don't want to tap out here. Just want to draw into Hexmage. I could potentially play out an Elvish Spirit Guide here to see if they have Grove, because if not, like, we can start getting in. And at least that's one more card we just know about, but I feel like if they had Punishing Fire, they would start going after us with Punishing Fire and Grove. I should Ghost Quarter this at some stage, but we still have a little bit of time. Oh my gosh. It's turn 11, they haven't found an engine? That's just, things are starting to heat up. Alright, Hexmage, come on. Ooh, not good enough. But Crop is pretty good because it turns on Bog. And then, honestly, we're going to play the other Spirit Guide here. I mean, it's a real threat. But I probably want to see them tap out here. And then we Ghost Quarter the Dark Depths, because I don't want that 2020 coming into play. They could play this in a way where they get to untap. So I think here I'm happy to hit it. Because if they untap, I believe it could get awkward if they get to like the last one. We try to Ghost Quarter it and then they activate it again. And then I believe state-based actions check. So they kind of can beat Ghost Quarter in a way. So I'm just going to take care of it now. They could have their own Ghost Quarter, but... I mean their own like crop into something, but I think that's okay. Okay. No other basic, which is nice for us. Yes. Yes, deck. Come on. Ooh, Thoughtseize? Not yet. They had another Dark Depths? Okay. I will Thoughtseize to see what they have. There is a world... I think they just have lands. They honestly would have played out anything else. Maybe a Mox Diamond? Yeah, okay. Hey Matt, to the sea. Hope you're well. Alright. This is like a fast clock. Like they have a lot of mana to go for it. Maybe even next turn, potentially. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 mana, so they can take off 4. That's crazy. Oh, they found a loam. The fields. I don't want to give them the field here. I think I would rather just crop here in response to loam instead of taking away the loam, because the field of the dead is going to get really messy. I think that's the play. I'd rather let them have the loam, which is tough because it is a good engine, than rather have the field. And thankfully enough, we can even save our spirit guides from punishing fire if we really need to with Not of This World, because we can just pay for them, which is pretty funny. If we draw a land. Okay. I'm just going to scrying to take a land out of the deck. I'm not too sure what I want though. I think it's just going to be step to have naturally in case I need it. But yeah, like to be fair, maybe I should have gone on the Spirit Guide plan a little bit earlier. I think this one I stifle. And then they untap and have 3... Oh, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think it is this one. Maybe not. Maybe I just make them hold up mana again. Because if they go to 4, and then they untap and play a land, then they have 3... 6, 9, 12, and then they're 1 mana short to combo off in response to Stifle. So I think we're fine here. Because they only have 1 card, so they can't have like land and Mox and land. Oh, now it goes down to 3. Ah. My bad. That's a miscount. Well, now I hope they draw something and play it. Like a loam. Okay, this is actually fine. We get another turn. Oh, they have a Mazavith now? Rough. Okay. Yeah, just a little bit too slow. But this is a sweet game. I really enjoyed this game. Sure. And then they'll try to take this last one off. We get to stifle it. but sadly just a little bit too slow. Because even if we draw a Hexmage here, yeah. They might think we're... I don't think they'll block here with a creature, because they might like want to play around our Caracas. Tough. Alright. Lands. Two surgical, two leyline, safekeepers. Interesting. I definitely like the ley lines and the surgicals. I also like the Force of Vigors, to be fair. I think Force of Vigor a little bit better than Trophy, but Trophy's interesting. Duress can come out, Inquisition can come out. Thoughtseize's not great either. I kind of like just going all turbo. I don't mind Caracas. Safekeeper is super scary? Okay, cool. I wonder if they take out Tabernacle. That would be pretty interesting. I think this is fine. Yeah, nice. So I don't think like Safekeeper is going to be like taxing us in a way through that. But yeah, this seems good. Force of Vigor just a really nice way to deal with things like Exploration and Valakut Exploration. Moxen if I really want to. Then we leave in Mazes, yeah. Maze is pretty nice, it's just a nice way to make us not have an answer. Thankfully Not of This World does stop it. Counter target ability that targets a permanent you control. Yeah, Blastzone's a pretty interesting one as well. We do have Stifles, which is nice, and the Needles. And I guess also the Hex Mages in a way, but... Alright. No, a very reactive hand that I'm just not a big fan of. Okay. Okay. Probably keep and bottom a Scrying here. They went to 6. I think here I'm happy just to go for Mana Confluence. Scrying. Probably get Yav. But this is interesting. I think it's just going to be Stage. But a tough one. I could stifle their fetch if I really wanted to. Or I could just play towards my game. I think there's better targets for the stifle. I'm just going to get Urborg because it does cast Hexmage. And there is a world where Urborg gives them more mana that they want than I want. I think sacking Blast Zone is part of the cost, so I don't think you can like make them like activate Blast Zone for 2 and then you have a chance to remove the counters to make it 0, unfortunately. There's Hexmage. I guess we just pass here. Interesting, they're not playing around crop rotation. Oh, they hit Needle. Nuts. Hey, Tom. Very cool to see you in chat. I would have played Hexmage out there, leaving up Stifle. Lets you play through a lot with Mage plus Stage plus Stifle and 10-4. Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. A warm welcome to see you in chat. Very, very cool. So they're not playing the Needle, so that means they have crop rotation open. Okay. Well, that also changes things. How do I want to do this? Hey, Evil Green. Very cool to see you. Yeah, it's very true, Jide. If they discard the Thespian Stage to Mox, they could potentially have another in hand. See, if I play Safekeeper out, and then Depths, we then don't have a way to play around Wasteland on Depths. But what if we play out Safekeeper and Hexmage and Depths? I could Surgical now as well, just to get information. If we had Yav out, we wouldn't be able to play the Hexmage for double black. I don't mind Surgical here just to get info. Because I think if there's like a Wasteland already in the bin, then the game's probably gone too far for like Surgical and Wasteland to be a real thing. So I think here this is fine. Oh, if they had it, yeah, that's very true. Opponent having a good think, potentially. In the tank on crop rut? Yeah. How's life, Tom? What have you been doing with your time instead of crushing leagues? I assume you've been enjoying. I think you play guitar, which is pretty cool. Obviously you have a dog, so I assume you're taking the dog for a lot of walks. Why is it called Rainbow Depths? I think it's because of the mana base. You have the chance to make any color with Mana Confluence and Gemstone Mine. If they crop out now, their Valakut goes away, right? Their Valakut goes away. Interesting, they have Veil and the crop. Okay. 2 Force, 2 Punishing Fire, 2 Tireless Tracker. Interesting. Guitar, chess, dog activities, nice. That seems like the life. Okay. So I guess with crop there, we might as well just play out the Hex Mage and the Safekeeper. Could potentially hold up Stifle, but that's true. We can also Hex Mage into Dark Depths. The issue is if they go for Karakas instead of Dark Depths. Yeah, just go for it in their upkeep. Yeah, I like that because then Karakas doesn't get 2 activations either. They do also have Stage, that's very correct. My opponent had to call a judge, friend, to see if Veil of Summer stopped Surgical Extraction. Which is fair enough. Veil is an interesting card, so... sadly, we lost the first game, so there is no round 3 if we try to save time here. I guess we can try to wait 1 additional turn, but it's tough. Stifle doesn't get Karakas, unfortunately, if we go for it here, because they get to Karakas, we Stifle, untap Karakas again. So I think I am just going to play it a little bit slower. Because there's not really a great option. They don't have a land in hand either, so they might not actually get a Valakut. They're going to play the Mox, discard tab, instead of getting that land drop. Interesting. Huh. They find a map. Map's pretty good. They haven't played a land yet, so I could potentially hit this. I go for it now, right? And then just hold up Stifle? Yeah. Yeah, I go for it now. So 2 cards in hand, a Veil, which does nothing right now, and Crop Rotation. So if we go for Hexmage now, they could crop into Wasteland, try to Wasteland Depths, which we stifle, but then they have Expedition Map into Caracas, which gives them the out, so it doesn't really work here. Yeah. Yeah, sadly I can't. I really just need to know what they get with this map to try to make a better decision. It's tough as well if they get Wasteland or Caracas, because then they have 3 mana open for stage as well. But definitely have to watch the clock as well, especially if I am playing towards a game 3. We are down 3 minutes. What am I playing around? The main things are, they get a Saga. Interesting. That means I can go I can go for it now with the trigger on the stack, right? Because now they have to... Yeah, now we just get there with the trigger on the stack. Because they can't use this for mana, which is nice. But playing around crop into Wasteland on Dark Depths or crop into Caracas. They're the two ones. How is this different from the 5-0 list? I think the only change was moving Caracas back to the sideboard because no Ragavan. And then taking out... I think that's it. I think that's it. What replaced the Caracas? That's a good question. I think I just went up on a 4th Not of This World, because I'm not playing the one of Elvish Spirit Guide. Sorry, Elvish Reclaimer, which I do like, and I would like to see it. HA. Things are pretty good down under. Pretty happy. Nice. Yeah, unfortunately so, because even this land comes into play and then I guess respond to it being able to actually activate and hit mana. They hit their own Dark Depths. Oof. But they've played a land for turn already. Yeah, they're going to crop now. That's fine. That's fine. Nice. Alright. I don't think I want to change anything else. I still like the ability to go fast. Not of This World, obviously great against Mazavith and Caracas. Force of Vigors for the Exploration and Valakut explorations. Leyline and Surgicals for Graveyard. Safekeepers seem really nice as well for things like Caracas and those otherwise. I think I'm happy to sending this back. Trophies are interesting, but I'd rather just play a game where I don't care about what they're trying to do and just stick on my plan. I could potentially go down on Dark Depths. Maybe there's a reason to drop down on that. But I also don't mind just the bonkers hands of like turn 1 Urborg Dark Depths with some sort of like Not of This World backup. So I do like having the full 4 to play around with, but I could definitely see that happening. I haven't tried Sylvan Library in this sort of list, but I have tried it in the slower builds with green-black. An interesting hand. It doesn't have a piece of the combo just yet. It does have the scrying, but like we have Needle for Wasteland, which is quite nice. We have Protection in Not of This World. We have a little bit of Fast Mana in Lotus Petal. I mean, it's not the worst, but yeah, it's slow. That's the issue. It also doesn't cast Hexmage unless we use the pedal. It's tough as well, because if we really want to force, like if they go like Mox into Urza's Saga, we have to lose a Scrying, and then we're kind of left with a pretty average hand. But having these two is quite nice. I think we can just like, we have the protection, and we have a lot of ways to draw into the actual lands, and I think that's better than... I think that's better than trying to draw into protection, just because there's multiple ways to find sort of ways out of things. It does break my rule, that's very correct, but I'm also open to breaking it, I think. But a Loam here would be quite good for my opponent. And I feel like this is a Loam. Okay. Come on, Bog. Stage. Well, there's one piece. Alright, so let's go for Stage, Needle, Wasteland. Pass. I don't want to play the Lotus Petal out and get blown out by like Force of Vigor. Oh, they hit a Tracker, which is kind of nice for us, but they do hit a Saga here as well. I think my best draw is to green card to pitch to Force, so I don't have to pitch the Sylvan Scrying. They find their own stage. That's okay. And they hold up 3 mana. Interesting. Maybe I'll narrate some of these matches for a VOD. Oh man, I would learn a lot from that. And I also enjoy your voice, Tom, so there's that. Okay, this is fine. I mean, now the Valakut and the Mox are quite nice targets for the Force of Vigor, but I don't need to use them just yet. Luckily, they can't hit this, which is quite nice. Because it's during their turn, they'd have to have 4 mana to actually cast it. Oh, is it until your next turn? Oh no, cool. Yeah, that's all good. They're also tapped off here, so unless they have Crop, we're kind of good to go. Do we know their hand? We know they have Loam. And I believe they pitched the Taiga to the Mox and then fetched, so those were the 2 lands that they got from the Loam. Huh. They must have Crop. They kept 3 up last turn. They did, but for stage. Maybe they thought like maybe I can get a turn here. The question is, like, we're at 4 minutes, so I'd have to think pretty quickly, but is there a world where this turn we just play 4 mana to hold up Force of Vigor end step to take out the Valakut and the Mox here? Yeah, Yav Paddle Force is interesting. Or even just Karakas Pedal. There is a world where they don't go for Wasteland. Oh, no, oh, that's actually good. We can't, yeah. If they have Crop, that's fine, because we have double Force for Karakas. Yeah, we're good to go. Yeah, I think we jam because of the needle. They could have Ghost Quarter, that's very correct. I think it's 3 minutes. I just want to try to go for it here, and like if they have it, they have it, which isn't fantastic, but at the same time, I think if I take the other turn and then try to navigate that, it's going to be a little bit too tough. Maze isn't too bad because we have the Not of This World, but we can also just draw into other cards, which is quite nice. Nice. Oh, okay. Well. It's not GG because there is a way where they could like play an Exploration, Wasteland the Karakas, then get it back as well. They could still have Maze, that's very correct. Opponent does have a Loam in hand and 3 cards. Opponent definitely thinking. Find a Wasteland, Taiga. That's not going to do it. There's nothing to loan back that's relevant, which is nice for us. I guess they can try to hit off the Valakut again. Like a crop for Maze. Ah! Ah! All right. They must have crop in hand for Maze. Ah, rough. All right, well, I guess we try to rebuild. And we're just going to go to our end step. Yeah, double crop's just quite hard to beat in any world. I do want to get towards Force of Vigor on the probably Saga and Valakut. Yeah, Saga's a tough one. They hit another Saga. Hmm. Interesting. I think he would just take out the second Saga token. And then I might as well allow them to get something. Should see if they get like Shadow Spear and try to equip. Oh, don't want to pay the life. 1, 2, 3, 4. These two. Oh, don't, no. Ah! We can still try to get there. Ah, but I meant to play it. I meant to play it. Classic. It would be really tough with like Karakas and Maze and stage. I don't think we're getting towards a Dark Depths, but tough. Oh, the hood's another 6? Oh, I lost the Valakut. There we go. GG's. Tough. Alright. Into the next. So that was lands. Green red? Green red lands. Win. Loss, win, loss. Nice. Hey, industry, that is Rite of Consumption. Which I think in this list, if I was going to play that sort of effect, I'd play Fling. Because you can still cast it, and it plays around Veil of Summer, which is pretty huge. Fling is also instant speed, which is nice. But yeah, Rite of Consumption is 1 in a black sorcery. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you sacrifice a creature, and then I think it's just target opponent. Yeah, loses life equal to that creature's power. Which of course Veil can stop, which is pretty tough. So Fling is pretty sweet. And yeah, Fling there would have been pretty cool. Ah, Rain, that's very cool. I didn't know with the exclamation point card, you could just type part of the card and it would pick it up. Nice, that's very cool. Alright, on the draw. Against Varel. Hey Cheetah. Yeah, they were pretty cool games. Really nice games. I think the time definitely had an effect on me going for it, but I thought that maybe with the yeah, with the double Knot of the Swells would be okay, but pretty good. No, it was a hard fought one. I'm gonna mulligan this. It's a little bit too hand disruption and doesn't have one of the 3 pieces that I talk about. Again, pretty tough. But I think there's a better 5, especially when we're just looking for those 3. Urborg, Dark Depths, Hexmage. I'm not going to go down, so... I think this is... I guess I don't need both Yav and Urborg. There's a world where I'd rather have the Spirit Guide, it's just fast mana. I think it's this. This always allows me to play around days, which is quite nice. Folk. Okay. Okay. Gonna start with Needle. Opponent went to 6 as well. No point playing these out either. Yeah, it's always tough as well. Oh, this could be a pretty aggressive version of Delver. It's always tough as well when you know... like when chat knows my hand. Okay. Well, at least the Pithing Needle was good. Okay, that's one piece. Yeah, I think Panda makes a good point. I just expect you'd have like a Loam or a Valakut Exploration in that opening. That was probably the only thing. Play the Wasteland. They just bolt me. Okay. Come on, one piece of the combo. Ah, oh, so good. I guess we just do it now. We can't really play around Force Negation because they can just hard cast it anyway. I think we use the pedal as well to crop. Because if we go to 8 and they have bolt, that's 3, 4, 8. Yeah. So I think we tap this for black. Go get stage. Play depths. Make it. Nice. This one. It's tough though, because now they're pretty close to just casting the Murktide and just having like enough blockers to not make an attack fantastic. Yeah, it's actually kind of awkward here. That now I'm kind of at a stalemate. Because if I attack, they block with the Sprite, they come back for 7, which kills me to Bolt. Maybe there's a world where I can't actually play around Bolt anyway. Hexmage. Yeah, I think I just attack in here. That does put a creature into their bin. And then just need instant and sorcery, or like Bolt, of course. But I don't think I'm winning this game if I hold back. Yeah, because let's do the math. We attack, they block with the Sprite Dragon, they untap, and they attack for 7, we go to 2. If we don't attack, they untap. If they attack with everything, we block the Murktide, we take 4. And if they have Bolt, we take 5, go to 1. And then they just have 2 attackers. I think we attack, but it's a tough one. I think attacking gives us the best route to win through this. Like Bolt with just the Murktide wins it, so that's always tough. Iteration's pretty good as well. And there's the instant as well. So that's just it. Yeah. Tough. It would have been sweet if we were able to play the Hex Mage, because then we could remove the counters off Murktide to make it a 3/3. Tough. Interesting one. I'm not a big fan of the Duresses. I do like the trophies. It's just a way to interact with Murktide or any other creature if I have to. And Fluster's pretty nice. I could see just a cut down on some of the fast mana. Needle relevant for Wasteland. Stifle not the worst for Wasteland as well. I still like Inquisition and Thoughtseize. I still like the Nuts, but I could see a cut. I'm probably only thinking of like Brazen Burrower. Submerge we can at least play around a little bit. It could just be something like this. I don't mind this. Really want to be quick. Tough. Tough. Hey, it's Autonomy, welcome. We will play. We have one piece with Urborg and some interaction. We don't have a Needle, which is a big one for Wasteland. Forgot to bring in Caracas for Ragavan. It's just tough because this is a hand where Thespian Sage and Hexmage are both really good targets. But I could see a world where this is just too slow. Yeah, I think I just want to play around Wasteland a little bit more. Okay, nice. Yeah. Probably leading on Gemstone Mine Needle, and then going from there. Probably bottoming the Elvish Spirit Guide here, but I could see a world where we keep that. Just to play around Days, but I don't mind taking out the Sajiri step. I think that's okay. It's also a nice crop rotation target if we need it. Opponent also on 6. I kind of don't want to play Bog, but I feel like I need to. Just to have 2 mana next turn. Steam Vent's tapped. Hey Mythic Common, thank you for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? What's good us on Rainbow? I think it's a touch slower than Green-Black. That's the big thing. And Stifle can just win games. That's probably the 2 big things. But I think I will go back to Green-Black with Saga for a little bit as well. Just because I think Green-Black with Saga is a little bit more faster than Green-White without Saga. And Saga in itself can just win games. The Ponder chose not to shuffle. I'm going to play the Hex Mage without showing Dark Depths. Okay. And now I think we just pass. Because we have Wasteland open. There's a world where we can use Spirit Guide and Lotus Petal to take care of like a Karakas out of the board, which would be pretty cool. But they could just go like Bolt on Hex Mage, play Karakas. Sure. Okay, maybe their play is to like try to Dragon Ridge Channeler a blocker for a turn and then draw into something else. In Portland, Oregon? Nice. I feel like Oregon is a really nice area. Like, good for like hiking. I feel like a lot of the videos I watch for like people who are into like hiking or like trail running love Oregon. Been running around with this main deck Sphere of Resistance in lands. Very cool. I wonder if they have Stifle. They could potentially have Brazen Burrow or Bounce. They let us untap. Nice, very cool. Crater Lake? Nice, I've definitely heard of Crater Lake. Okay, that's very cool. Alright, 1 and 1. I don't think I want to change anything here. Pretty happy just to run it back. Main deck Spheres are sweet. I played a version of Green-White Depths that was recently a first place finish in the challenge. that Sprout took there, and he played a really cool list, or they played a really cool list with Esper Sentinels, Sphere of Resistance, a lot of like lock pieces in the main deck, and it was really, really cool. This is just a mulligan. It doesn't have Dark Depths or Hexmage. Pretty happy to mull that. This is good. This is pretty good. Turn 1 Inquisition into Dark Depths End Stage. We also have Crop Rotation. I'm going to keep this and probably bottom the extra stage. Yeah. And then we have, like, if we draw into a green source, we have Crop and Sylvan Scrying, which is pretty sweet. So, like, Lotus Petal or Simian Spirit Guard off the top, Elvish Spirit Guard off the top would be sweet. Opponent kept 6. No shuffle from my opponent. Really nice draw. Really nice draw. They have the Wasteland. I think here we're just taking the... This is interesting. I don't really care about the Delver. I don't want them to go to like Delver Wasteland. I don't really care about that because we have the Yav. I think it's the Brainstorm here. Leave them with the Iteration. As good as Iteration is, I think it's just going to be Brainstorm. We'll see how aggressive they are as well on this Wasteland. They play Delver. They should play Wasteland here, because there's a chance we have like Dark Depths and Hexmage, which then they can interact with, but otherwise they can't. Ooh, wow! That's interesting. Didn't expect that. Now we can just hold up Crop. Could potentially, yeah, okay, just getting Steam Vents. So I was going to say maybe an end-step Brainstorm to try to get this Delver flipped, but I think they'll be okay. No flip is huge for us. Iteration. Could potentially just go for it next turn. Play Depths, float 3 mana, Crop into Stage, and then just have Stage. They're going to go for another Delver. Okay. So we know one card's Wasteland. Yeah, I think here we just go for it. Green, green, green. Crop away the Urborg. Go and get Stage. Copy Dark Depths. This version. I probably should have got rid of the Urborg because of Submerge, but I wanted the Yavimaya because of Sylvan Scrying. Oh my gosh! No! No! We just... Ah! Ah! All right. To be fair, they could have like blocked with the Delver and then like played 5th land and just hardcast Submerge, but tough one. Here we just want to go for Urborg. Tough. Double Wasteland's really good as well. Rough. I don't think it was as big of a punt as it was, but I definitely should have probably thought about more about Submerge than just being able to cast the Sylvan Scrying for Step. Yeah. Tough. Not the way to finish it off. Not the way to finish it off, but that was really sweet. I have a party to go to, so I am going to leave. But a huge thank you to you guys for coming in and watching. It was awesome. A huge thank you for Tom to be here. Apologies that I couldn't do better, but you know, 3-2 back is not too bad, especially while we're adjusting to the new format. It's quite nice, but as you can see there, Delver is just as good, which is pretty lame, but we will fight through it. And I think overall, depth decks have a pretty good time against Delver, so not too bad. A huge thank you for the new subs and the new followers. If you guys want to find me, you can find me here on YouTube and here on Twitch. But yeah, a huge thank you to you guys. Enjoy your weekends. I will have many a beers for you, and I might be back online tomorrow night, which would be in about, I'm going to say 28 hours. So you guys are welcome. We'll see you next time. Cheers.